I call David Seymour.
I rise on behalf of the ACT Party in opposition to this bill. I'm sure Mr Nash will get up at some point, speak in favour of it and reflect on that as he flies home for the weekend. But Mr Speaker, I want to thank James Shaw for bringing a substantial bill with noble intentions to the House. But I have to say, I think on a couple of measures it fails. One is that he claims one of the advantages is that it is fiscally prudent for New Zealand investors not to invest in certain areas because they may end up with stranded assets. Now, if it's true that James Shaw and the Green Party have that sort of foresight with respect to the financial markets, I've got a simple solution to them. Start shorting those assets. The Green Party could fund its entire campaign. It wouldn't have to go and ask people for donations, wouldn't have to do fundraising drives, wouldn't have to sell sausage sizzles or anything else. They could make all of their money just by shorting assets with the foresight that they used to design this bill. But of course, Mr Speaker, we all know that that's hogwash. They have no such foresight, as they've demonstrated with peak oil over the last decade. But secondly, let's imagine for a moment that we're not going to delude ourselves that this is somehow fiscally prudent, but rather we believe that this is a very important issue to address, and ethically the nebulous we that the previous member kept talking about, must stop supplying capital, or at least raise the cost of capital to these industries that we see as being a threat. And the problem with that is that you have created a conflicting objective for those who manage the fund. On the one hand, they have to maximise return to taxpayers for the purposes that taxpayers have, and on the other hand, they have to pursue this secondary ethical objective. And it's never a good idea in politics and business and in life to have one organisation with two diametrically opposed objectives, which is what they would have. Far better to tax or disincentivise the consumption of carbon-heavy materials or services or goods at the point of consumption. But of course the real difficulty is that all the 40,000 people flying off in jet planes to Paris to talk about this next month will not be able to solve the fundamental coordination problem that they can't get every government in New Zealand, in the world, to agree on a price level for carbon. And until you solve that problem, nothing in this bill is going to help the security of New Zealand's investments or have any significant or measurable impacts on global carbon emissions. So with those few comments and caveats, Mr Speaker, I again commend the member for bringing the bill, but I cannot agree with its intentions or what its results would be, and so I have to oppose this bill. Thank you, Mr Speaker.